Cashflow Diary Podcast, episode 274.
Welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Cashflow Diary Podcast, the podcast that teaches you insider tips, tactics, and strategies for creating leverage streams of cash flow into your life. Learn from top-performing entrepreneurs, business owners, investors, and thought leaders from across the globe as they share their secrets to success. Like what you learn on this and other Cashflow Diary podcast episodes? Go to learninvestingnow.com and sign up to receive powerful tips and information that will help you succeed as an entrepreneur and investor. Now, here's your host, investor, entrepreneur, business owner, educator, speaker, author, and master facilitator of Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow game, Jay Massey.
All right, peoples, how are you guys doing? What a wonderful day it is indeed. Wanted to share with you another one of the recent scopes. If you've been following me on Periscope and or Facebook Live, then you may have been there when this happened. If not, feel free to check us out. It's Cashflow Diary on Periscope at Cashflow Diary, as well as on Facebook Live. You can go to facebook.com/Cashflow Diary. Make sure that you like the fan page and subscribe for the live notification. So we're going to talk a little bit about many different things, but specifically as it relates to lead generation. So here we go.
Today, we're going to talk about something that I think is absolutely imperative. And chief among the imperative things that we're going to talk about is, well, leads. And we're specifically going to be focused on this right over here, what is called Lead Machine. It's a specific course. It's a specific system that I've used and created to go out there and build real estate. So what we get the privilege of doing is helping people become real estate entrepreneurs. That's what it comes down to. We get the privilege of helping people become real estate entrepreneurs. And I myself, we currently have a little more than 200 units across the United States, which is pretty cool and exciting. And we've managed to do this while, starting with a credit score of 398, didn't have barely $75 to put together. All that means is that we have systems in place that manage to bring leads together. We also own commercial property as well as a cell phone tower. Those things are pretty cool, which is a long way of saying that raising capital, finding investors, generating leads, getting deals attracted to you, all of those things are things that we have done more than once, and it's something that we've taught to many people. We've had the privilege of working. Our information touches approximately 76 different countries, which is pretty cool. And we've helped thousands of people become real estate entrepreneurs. Can you explain how investors are compensated when raising money for cash flow deals? Well, I could explain, except that it's complicated. Give me a second on that one. You need to come by my starter home in Akron. I need a roof and 2 floor beams, 980 square feet. That's way too small for anything that I would be interested in. However, what you might want to learn how to do is to raise capital. So started the video training today. Sherilyn, excellent. Glad to hear that. How did your first deal get done with $75? It actually didn't get done with $75. It got done with no dollars because I didn't have it. It's a strategy known as subject to investing. You've seen this before where they've said things like, we take over payments. I'm still recovering from the 2008 meltdown. Well, interestingly enough, I closed on my first property in 2008, June 18th to be exact. And I took over payments from someone who was in foreclosure in the meltdown. That's exactly what's going down. Let me draw this out for you, because I want to make sure that you guys have a way to generate leads, specifically leads that doesn't necessarily cost you more money. And I'm going to break down the entire business model, but we're going to focus on lead generation and let you know about the course that we have available. It's called Lead Machine. It's called Lead Machine. Oh, please do tell. I intend to do exactly that. So I'm going to use a number of cards. So if you've got time, you're definitely going to want to be in a position to make sure that you can grab some screenshots today, because I'm going to draw. Oh no, it will cost money. The scope is free, but the Lead Machine course is not. Of course, the Lead Machine course is not. Because this particular system that we're referring to is the very same system that I used to get my first 117 units. And I think that's definitely something you want. The course is actually, Lead Machine is awesome and worth it. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it. How do I take over payments on another investor's property? James, great question. That is actually covered in our How to Do Deals with No Dollars course. I think you already have access to that, my friend. I don't know. I just don't know. Everybody's so new and there's so many of you. I'm going to try to stay focused on leads today but I first want to break down the entire system. I want to break down the entire system because you've got to have this picture in your head to understand how your business should be working. All right. So I'm going to draw it right here. So what it comes down to is 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So first of all, there are 3 types of leads that you should be generating. There should be leads for buyers. That's right. Good job, Heart Monitor, right there. Good buyers, sellers, and investors. All right. So this is the first part right here. Let me get that light right. There you go. Buyers, sellers, investors. Again, thanks for the hearts, guys. We're going to have lots of screenshots tonight, so I'm expecting lots of those. Buyers, sellers, and investors. Now, here's a fundamental concept that you must have on straight. People buy for their reasons, not yours. And if you fail there, the rest of your system doesn't work. Investors are they're going to give you their money for their reasons, not yours. People are going to buy from you for their reasons, not yours. People are going to sell to you for their reasons, not yours. They're not going to do the things you think they should do for the reasons that you think they should do them. All right. So that's really what I'm talking about. Big deals. Thanks for sharing on Twitter and inviting those followers. Greatly appreciated by all means. All right. So this is the first piece of your business puzzle. So please understand, how did you discover the components of your lead system from a friend or mentor, etc.? Great question, Daylin. This is called seat knowledge. I've done well over 200 buy and sell transactions. I've raised tens of millions of dollars of capital, well over 200 units of property. Like I said earlier, commercial is included in that, as well as a cell phone tower. So we're talking, and my first deal was closed June 18th, 2008. So I've been doing this a while, but I just go hard or go home. That's what my wife would say. Go hard or go home. So it's kind of natural for that. That's really what it comes down to. So I fail fast, fail forward, fail frequently. And through this process, I'm like, oh, this is exactly what works. This is exactly how you repeat the process and make things happen. If you want to begin to get more details about the actual lead system, it's cashflowdiary.com/lead machine. Cashflowdiary.com/lead machine. We have a payment plan for those of you who might be tight on cash, so you can still get access to it, even though you're going to get access to the full thing. I'm not going to hold anything back. All right. I'm not going to hold anything back, even if you have a payment plan. But let's talk about why it's important, because here's what it comes down to. You've got to have buyers, sellers, and investors, right? And I know instinctively you know this, but you might not have a context. And that's the problem, is you might not have a context for the content. And therefore you don't really understand what you're building or what you're doing. So what happens after you have the buyers, sellers, and investors, you must invite them to a place to where they can see you as an expert. Okay. We're going to continue to build on this piece of paper. You must invite them to a place where they can see you as an expert. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to attract the buyers, sellers, and investors, not repel them, not chase them, not stalk people online and offline. You're going to learn inside Lead Machine how to go, like if you're an introvert like me, you're going to learn strategies that will bring people to you. And what I mean by bring people to you, I'm talking because, again, I don't know if any of our existing students are online right now with us, but they can tell you what happens is that you end up generating this avalanche of individuals where you have more leads than time. Are there certain areas that the system would require adjusting? You would have to be, well, let me put it this way. I've taught in Lithuania. I've taught it internationally in other countries. I've taught it to people from, more countries than I can possibly remember. Right now, our information touches people in 76 different countries, and including New Zealand, UK, Germany. So these are Israel. I'm just thinking randomly, in addition to the United States. So I haven't found a place yet. Maybe and you know what? It probably doesn't work too well in Antarctica, but I don't know how hot real estate is there. So I promise not to give up my day job. You get my point, though. So at the end of the day, so long as you're dealing with people and people have an inclination to do business, it has typically worked regardless of language, regardless of culture. Pretty, hopefully you get the idea. Anyway, the point is, your system, your thing is you've got these leads up here, then you've got to invite them to a place to where they can see you as the market expert. Now, I have a sneaky way to help everybody be an expert, per se. What does that mean? That means you get to be an expert when you learn the following. Someone get ready to write this in. You must learn to educate to dominate. Educate to dominate. So this is the same thing that happens with a farmer, right? You give before you expect to receive. The challenge most of the time when someone's getting involved in real estate investing, they believe that somehow they have a right to a lead, to a transaction, to a deal, to a paycheck within a weekend or 30 days. Like they somehow have a right to it. Well, you've planted no seeds. If you've planted no seeds, why would you have a right to it? Period. If you don't plant seeds first, you won't ever have anything to harvest. The farmer doesn't plant a seed and then expect a crop tomorrow. One of the things you must learn to do is educate to dominate. You got to plant the seeds. In fact, if the farmer just plants the seeds but doesn't water, he hasn't earned the right to a harvest. So one of the best ways I have found is to actually teach the Cash Flow 101 board game. Okay, this board game was invented by Robert and Kim Kiyosaki. They've done a good job. I've taught this game to I don't even know how many thousands of people. The largest game that I've hosted or taught at was 180 people. At one time, which was kind of awesome. I've done it on cruise ships. I've done it, like I said, in Estonia, Lithuania. I've done it, obviously, in the United States, many different cities. I've taught the game into many different countries, many different people, and it works every time. It works every time. But it's a great way to position yourself as an expert. The challenge, though, is it doesn't work unless you have people coming to the game. You got to have people coming to the game. But let me give you the rest of the system as we continue to talk about Lead Machine, because at the end of the day, your business lives or dies on leads. If you want to find out the details of the very same Lead Machine, the system that I used with fancy stuff today, definitely no Periscope, right? There was no live streaming. None of that existed, but it got me to 117 units. You can go to cashflowdiary.com/lead machine. Cashflowdiary.com/lead machine. If you need to take a screenshot, by all means do so. Cashflowdiary.com/lead machine. There you go. Excellent. All right. So let's keep going, though. Let's keep going. The next step inside your lead generation, we'll call it puzzle, is what I call, it's a triple I, not a 3, not a Roman numeral 3. It's a triple I, investor identity interview. This is where you begin to sit down individually with a person one-on-one. Now, before you ask people for something, you have to find out what they want. Period. So understand how my system works. You're going to plant the seed. You're going to give. You're going to water. You're going to nurture the seed. And then when the next step is going to be to find out more. Hey, what can I do to help you grow? What is it that you're looking to do? Type of conversation, and what we call an investor identity interview. And when you're having that investor identity interview, this is where you begin to find out their criteria. Now, here's the thing. Many people that I've sat with, they don't know their criteria. They don't know that they have what I call an investor identity. There are certain places, certain marketplaces that they would invest in, certain types of property that they would invest in. And in fact, if you've ever tried to do a deal and someone just says it doesn't feel right, but can't explain it, this is why they can't explain it. And this is why you have no idea. Is the problem the deal? Is the problem you? Is the problem the structure? You don't know. It's because you haven't done an improper investor identity interview. But that's where you get to find out what they want. It's about them first. Remember, I said at the beginning, people buy for their reasons, not yours. And that's what's important. So you have to do a proper triple I interview. After you've done that, after you described or uncovered, I should say, what it is that they want, then you get to talk about what you want. So what does that mean? So let me show you what this looks like now. So first it's about them. Then you get to go over what you are after. Then and only then, at this moment, have you begun to earn the right to talk about what it is that you want. So first, you're going to, again, generate the leads. You're going to position yourself as an expert, preferably using the Cashflow 101 game. You're going to find out what they want. Then you're going to talk about what you're doing. Does this work with direct marketing? Yes, this works with if you are person to person, this is literally the process. It also translates to online, but we're not talking about our online information right now. It translates over and over and over again into many different mediums. So whether if you've got a message, a product, a service to sell, it has worked time and time again. So, but this is the order. The key to understanding this, please hear me clearly, is sequence. Do not violate sequence. That's the challenge, what most people end up doing. You said, why not? When you violate sequence, you end up in the lopsided relationship. I skipped the first 3 steps and lost a deal. Yes, that doesn't surprise me, unfortunately, James. Most of the time, this is where people start. People start, especially when they're investing in real estate. Hey, look at my deal. Isn't this great? Look at this. It's an 8% return. It's 12%. It's this. It's awesome. Don't you want to do it? And they're like, no. I don't know you. You don't know me. You don't have a clue about what I want. I don't even understand the numbers you just said. So why should I want it? And then you end up in this back and forth. Hello, Visionary. Welcome. Glad that you are here. But for those of you just joining us, my name is Jay Massey, CEO of Cashflow Diary, where we get the privilege of creating real estate entrepreneurs. Able to do this. We've been able to do this for a number of years, and I myself happen to own a couple hundred units across the United States, including right now commercial property as well as a cell phone tower. And we've been able to. Our information touches 76 different countries, and we've been able to help thousands. What we're talking about right now is the process of generating leads and the system that I've used to go out there and generate, to get me to my first, 117 units, first 117 units. And because I did that with no website, no email database, none of those fancy tech toys that people talk about all the time. If you want to find out the details or pick up a copy, it's cashflowdiary.com/lead machine. Again, cashflowdiary.com/lead machine. All right. So we talked about the leads, buyers, sellers, and investors. You got to position yourself as an expert. Then you got to do what I call the III, investor identity interview. And then you got to sit down with them and do the PAQ conversation. So what it really means is you position yourself as an expert, find out what they want. Then you've earned the right to talk about what you want. And after you have earned the right, did you take my black marker? I need this. After you've earned the right to talk about what you want, then you are asking them to enroll. That's what that's supposed to be, to enroll in the process. Meaning you're asking for the sale, for lack of a better way of putting it. That's what you were doing right there. So now this step, the enroll step, is where you quote unquote make the money. More importantly, it's where you actually get paid for what you've already done. This is the harvesting step. So notice how many steps come before you actually get paid. This is where everybody wants. They just want this. Jay, tell me how to get to this. Well, you got to do all this other work. Well, I don't want to do that work. I need money this weekend. Okay, I get that. But you got to do all this other work. I don't want to do that. Well, I can't help you if you don't want to do the work. Period. All right. Simple as that. All right. After the enroll step, this is my favorite step, and this is the one that you're trying to get to, because ultimately you are doing business for one reason. All you want to do is get to the point to where what you're doing is generating referrals. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. The cool thing is if you look at this, I'm going to draw some shapes around this.
Now, you may, find this interesting depending on who you are. I consider myself lucky, and here's why. I actually get to do work stuff with the kids right next to me. So, yeah, they're right next to me. I'm sure you probably figured that out in this particular case, but it's definitely interesting for them, and it's been interesting for me as well. And I'm sure right now it's probably even interesting for you. Maybe for some of you, it's giving you a vision. And others of you, you're like, man, why did he do that? I don't know. Here's what I do know. You want more, and more of what you want is on the other side of figuring out new skill sets. And I'm not sure if you're aware, but you can get a free copy of Cashflow Diary, 10 Steps to Creating Wealth in Any Economy, to begin your journey. All you got to do is go to cashflowdiary.com/free book. Again, cashflowdiary.com/free book to download your free PDF copy of the book, Cashflow Diary, 10 Steps to Creating Wealth in Any Economy. Quite simple. Well, let's get back to it.
So as I draw some shapes around this, you can begin to see a funnel, or a sales funnel, if you will. You can begin to see the sales funnel. So this is the complete picture right here. So you might want to grab a screenshot of this. This is the complete picture. This is your entire business, period, as a real estate investor. This is your entire business as the real estate investor. Thank you. All right. However, it all starts, as I said at the beginning, it starts with generating leads. It starts with generating leads because that's what goes in the funnel. The cool thing is, if you notice at the bottom here with referrals, well, the referrals you get are going to start the process all over, and they're going to go right back through, and you're just going to wash, rinse, and repeat this over and over and over again. This is the secret. This is the system. You're going to run this play every day. Like if this was a sport, a football game or baseball, this is the play that you're running every day. And I do like basketball. Good point. This is the play that you're running every day, and you run that play repeatedly, and you get better at it repeatedly. But again, it doesn't matter if you don't have any leads to put in it ever. The key is learning how to generate leads without spending a ton of money. Learning how to generate leads when you're at the grocery store. Learning how to generate leads when you're at that next networking event. Learning how to generate leads when maybe you're at Starbucks, one of my favorite places, right?
You go to Chick-fil-A too.
And I do go to Chick-fil-A too. Good point. She's keeping me honest and monitoring the hearts. This is awesome. So what it comes down to, I drive trucks. Well, I have time for this process. Even better, it'll work better the more places you naturally go, which is really cool. But the more places you go, the better it works. What it comes down to is learning how to generate leads everywhere you go. Like I said, it's like planting seeds. It's the same process. As you plant the seeds, you don't plant just in one spot. You plant in rows and along many acres. That's exactly what you want to do. And again, if you want to get your own copy of our lead machine, you can go to cashflowdiary.com/lead machine, and you'll be able to get your own copy of lead machine. Now, here's the thing. As you watch those videos, here's what I know. Some of you will be able to generate, I'd say 7 to 10 leads tonight within minutes of implementing this. Because when I taught it, I also teach it live. When I've taught it live, and you'll see what you're getting is access to one of the live recordings. People literally generate leads within minutes of implementing it. It happens all the time, and they won't cost you anything because, remember, I started my real estate investing career with a credit score of 398 and barely $75. Therefore, it meant I didn't have money for marketing. So I had to find strategies that attracted people to me, that worked for an introvert who didn't really want to talk to strangers, but yet had the desire to feed his family. That's really what it came down. Do your job, Jordan. Someone is telling you to do your job. She says she's trying to write a sign, keep the hearts going. Are you still evaluating deals on YouTube? James, for the most part, our deal evaluations happen for all of our members. We haven't produced any publicly for a long time. So we haven't produced any publicly for a long time. So we still do deal evaluations. In fact, I just finished some of those for some of our members earlier today because, everybody's in the middle of deals, be they commercial or residential or whatever they are. So, but yes, we definitely still do them, but that's usually for our members. And as a quick recap, when it comes to the system, so cool, weird that you're live, so used to you on my podcast. Well, cool. I hopefully that's a good kind of weird because I intend to do many more live broadcasts. I'm enjoying this a ton. For those of you who, again, want to have access to the lead machine, meaning the very system that I use to get like over the first 100 units. I'm talking raising the capital. I'm talking finding the buyers, the sellers. If you're doing wholesaling, this was how I did those first 200 plus deals. This is the system that brought the leads to me so that I was able to go out there and make that happen. Again, you can pick up your copy at cashflowdiary.com/lead machine, cashflowdiary.com/lead machine. Here's the overview one last time so that you can take a screenshot if you'd like. And then I think we'll be done, or I'll answer a few more questions for those of you that might still be here. Buyers, sellers, and investors. Buyers, sellers, and investors. This is the beginning step of the system. Then you position yourself as an expert. You do what we call your triple I interview, which is where you find out what they want. You become what I call a professional information gatherer. This is what you're primarily doing at this step. Then you find out, then you describe what you're doing. And if there's a match, you ask them to participate, you ask for the referral, and you repeat the process. Use that. Go out there and kill it, guys. Please do. And if you'd like to know how to fill that funnel with nothing but leads using a whole bunch of offline organic strategies, this is where cashflowdiary.com/lead machine comes in. Cashflowdiary.com lead machine comes in. It's where I sit down and teach you for about 2.5, 3, 4 hours of all the strategies that I use that were offline to generate leads, so that they didn't cost me any money or very, very little capital. And I had more leads than time. More leads than time. And if you'd like to pick, like I said, if you'd like to pick up your copy, just go to cashflowdiary.com/lead machine. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to take my screen here and show you guys inside the system. All right. So this is the back end of our training system. We have a number of courses inside here, to help all of our members to become bigger, better, badder real estate investors. So what we're talking about today is one of our advanced training courses. This particular advanced training course right here is Lead Machine. That's cool. You like that? So this one comes in 5 parts, as you can see. So it's got part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5. Okay. So hopefully you can see that, and you'll have immediate access. So let me show you part 1. So this is how it's structured. You have a video, you have your parts over here so that you can go through and practice questions down here so that you have the ability to go through and learn how each of these works all the way through. Hopefully that begins to make sense. So that's part 1. And then when you're done with part 1, you're going to go right over here to next lesson. And when you click that next lesson button, did I click it? Yes, I did. Click the next lesson. It's going to bring that up. And it's going to teach you one of the basic scripts that you use at a networking event. And then as you go through there, because there's the scripts of what you do when they ask you, what do you do? And there's the scripts of what you do when you're the first one to it. And you get to go through all 5 of these, like I said, immediately right now to begin to generate leads. And again, as I've said before, many people have been able to generate leads within minutes of beginning the course material. I don't know why you guys would be any different. So, as I've said, this, as you're seeing we have a lot of information to share with people. This is how we've been able to create thousands of real estate entrepreneurs across the country. Lead Machine is what we're talking about at right now, which is basically the process that I've used to go out there to create leads, generate the leads, the buyers, sellers, investors that we all need to be successful. So one more time, here it is. Here's the system. You're going to generate the leads, position yourself as an expert, triple I, PAQ. I don't want this to end. You're the greatest. You're welcome. Thank you guys for the kind words. If you'd like to pick up your copy and get immediate access to be able to generate leads literally right now, talking tonight, you're going to go to cashflowdiary.com/lead machine. Again, cashflowdiary.com/lead machine. All right. So what it comes down to is learning to fill up your funnel is key. Learning to do so at an economical price is even better. And when you can learn to do so at low to no cost strategies that you know are proven to work, that have worked in many different countries, that have worked for thousands of people, then hey, you too have a shot at being successful. In fact, as I said, many of you who have already taken advantage, you will have leads because it happens all the time. Watch the start the course tonight. As you start implementing some of the strategies, you'll generate at least 7 to 10 leads. Happens all the time because you just don't realize sometimes how simple it is to find someone who is actually interested in what it is that you're currently doing. Guys, gals, it's been fun. What is a lead machine? No doubt, a lead machine is actually you. That's you become the lead machine. I want to purchase my first home. Do you suggest I purchase a duplex to start off with my VA loan? Is it really safer to buy multi-properties instead of single-family homes? Got it. So instead of using the word safer, what I would say is let's look at ratios, okay? Because you're both kind of answering. I find that interesting that you're both asking a very similar question. Which one has more inherent risk? Meaning, if you have one job or one source of income and that one source of income goes away, what's riskier? Having one or four? If you have 4 sources of income and one of them go away, you can still survive, possibly. Think about an airplane. If an airplane is designed with one wing, does it fly? Yeah. Probably not. If it's designed with 2 wings, it flies a lot better. And if you lose one of those 2 wings, you still have the same problem. So, that's really what we're talking about here. So is it safer? I would say the risk is significantly less, but that doesn't mean the risk is gone. You can never get rid of risk. 4-plex is better. I have a 182 unit building. That is my largest building. That's even better because if one goes vacant, okay, so what? In fact, on that particular building, I think we can have like 80 vacant units and still be fine, which is kind of cool. And that's exactly what you want. You want to put yourself in a position to where you have a cushion. So that's what I'm talking about. That's really where we are. So at the end of the day, that's what it is. I would love to have one of those. Well, Sharon, totally understood. You've got to start somewhere. As I said before, you got to start somewhere. This is the business system that you're running. But more importantly than that, you've got to put yourself in a position to where you actually are generating enough leads. And that's where we start. Everybody has to start somewhere. I had to start just like you have to start. And it starts with the mind. It starts with doing these things. So buy big for my first time. Not necessarily, because there's different skill sets that you've got to learn along the way. That's like saying, I'm going to learn how to drive in a Ferrari. It's like, okay, you could, but that's probably not a good idea. Okay? It's just probably not a good idea. You could learn how to drive in a Ferrari, but it's probably better you try an old beat-up Chevette and then eventually graduate to a Ferrari. And that's really what I'm talking about. Real estate investing is a skill set. Business ownership is a skill set. Team building is a skill set. Deal evaluation is a skill set. There's so many skill sets, guys, that are all on top of each other. The basics of which is what I said earlier, learning to generate leads, which your system doesn't necessarily if you don't know how to generate leads, the rest of the system doesn't work. Visionary, you're saying start small, and that's true, except understand that small is a relative term. So, for example, to some people, a small deal could be 50 units, depending on that person's business experience. Like I've worked with prior franchise owners, or they've had other businesses before. They owned a mortgage company. So the idea of them starting with a 12-unit building or a 20-unit building actually isn't that is small for them, because that's where it begins to work. Whereas if you've had no prior business experience, then maybe, a single family house is probably where you want to start. So it's very, very relative to each person. So, that's one of the things that makes it difficult to be, to be in my position. And when people ask me my opinion, I've got to know a lot about what have you done in the past? Have you ever sold anything? Do you know how to communicate? What kind of teams have you built? Have you ever built a team? Do you have a CFO? I mean, there's just so many little pieces. And the goal with Cashflow Diary is to step it through one step at a time. One step at a time, which starts with generating leads. Do you have blog entries with info how I can buy one duplex with little funds and experience? We did produce whether it's a duplex, we produced an article about how to buy deals with no dollars. Yes, it's kind of what we do. So if you look up that term on cashflowdiary.com, you'll probably find it for sure. You'll probably find it. Anyway, it's been fun talking to you guys today. Again, one last time, if you'd like to get your copy of Lead Machine, the very system that I use that helped me to get over 100 units of rental property, generate 200 transactions, etc., be able to generate those leads using no money, very little money, lots of time, lots of skill, then you're just going to go over to cashflowdiary.com/lead machine. One last time, cashflowdiary.com/lead machine. And for those of you that have been here many, many, many times, I can pretty much guarantee you that we will be talking about lots of different things in the future. We will definitely be talking about leads again for a lot of the time this week, and we'll probably be talking about more again even later tonight, because sometimes the mood, it just strikes me when something interesting happens and I want to talk about it or teach about it. So make sure if you want to get more quality information, you hit the little Perry guy on the lower right, tap my name, and tap follow. We got 10,000 hearts for you. They got you 10,000 hearts. Good job, guys. Good job. Way to go. Way to go. Way to go. Excellent, guys. It's been fun talking to you today. I look forward to talking to you soon. Until next time.